committee will come to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare recess of the committee at any time, and all members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit extraneous materials to the chair for inclusion in the record.
The President is very focused on free and fair trade. As you mentioned, at the G7, the President specifically said, let's sign a free trade agreement with no tariffs, no barriers, no subsidies. So the President is very much focused, fighting every day on having free and fair trade.
So I'm just curious, Mr. Secretary, how does the administration think about business uncertainty as it calculates its trade policy?
Mr. Chairman, I can assure you that the President is very much focused on economic growth, and I can also assure you that I am monitoring the situation very carefully. I'm not familiar with that specific poll, but I speak on a regular basis to many industries as well as people within the administration, and we are monitoring the economic situation. We have not yet seen any negative impact, although, as you said, we are monitoring carefully the impact on uncertainty on investments.
Well, again, as you know, Mr. Secretary, even as of today, the actual tariffs are a small part of our global trade, but that is soon to change if the $200 billion that has now been threatened against China actually comes to be in 60 days. I guess the last question I would have, Mr. Secretary, is I'm curious how the administration thinks about the possibility of a global recession.
And as I said, we are monitoring very carefully the impact of tariffs, and we will continue to do so. And we are very focused on economic growth and look forward to what hopefully will be a very big quarter of GDP and future growth for the balance of the year and next year.
Gentlelady yields back. Today, we welcome back to the committee for his third.
As each day brings another announcement of jobs being eliminated or shipped overseas and consumers paying more for goods, what are you doing as Treasury Secretary to prevent further harm to our economy from the growing trade war?
I will comment specifically on China because I personally have been very involved in China. I've had multiple negotiations with them. Our objective is to create a level playing field for our companies to stop forced technology transfer. We put a modest amount of tariffs on China as a result of technology transfers. China reciprocated. Our tariffs were less than 10% of what they shipped. They matched that dollar for dollar, and the President threatened if they did that he would retaliate, and we're now in a comment period on the $200 billion. And again, I would just assure you, we very much are monitoring the impact on the economy of all these different issues.
I want to thank you very much, Mr. Secretary.
But I share your concern very much of any jobs being moved by Harley-Davidson or other people as a result of tariffs.
What will you do to try and get them not to move the jobs overseas?
I am going to specifically reach out to them and find out the details with the Secretary of Commerce.
Has expired. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Velasquez.